big story we've been tracking here on Headlines today. The BJP has been cornered in Parliament over the release of separatist Masarat Alam in Jammu and Kashmir. So much so that even the Prime Minister was forced to make a statement in the House over the issue. Congress led a joint attack in the Parliament, raising the issue in both houses, which reconvened after a 4-day holy break. While Mallikarjun Kharge led the charge in Lok Sabha, Anand Sharma was at the helm of affairs in the upper house, adamant that the Prime Minister make a statement on the issue. The opposition pressure and the resulting ruckus in the Parliament was so much that the Prime Minister had to oblige the opposition immediately after Home Minister Rajnath Singh expressed his own outrage over the issue. Earlier, Congress accused the BJP of being hand in gloves with the PDP, saying that Chief Minister Mufti Mohammad Saeed could not possibly have taken this decision unilaterally. The government, meanwhile, said that the centre was not involved in this decision. Prime Minister Modi saying that the government of India was not consulted or informed before Masarat Alam was released from jail. We have Gaurav Sawant in our Delhi studios for more perspective on the story. Gaurav, certainly not the last that we've heard of this issue from both the Home Minister and perhaps even the Prime Minister.
Well, absolutely. The centre has sought a clarification from the Jammu and Kashmir government, and that clarification will give out details about why Masarat Alam was released. Now, BJP, both in Jammu and Kashmir, and you had Jugal Kishore, the party MP and the state unit chief, saying that they were not in the loop on Masarat Alam's release. They're protesting there. You've had the Prime Minister in Parliament saying we were neither informed nor consulted. So you can't get any higher than that. Now, what will this lead to? Look, the opposition is up in arms, the opposition is angry, the government is angry, the Prime Minister is angry, and this sends a very strong message to the PDP government, BJP government in the state. So while Masarat Alam may have been released for now, there are two issues here. Will he be sent back to jail? Because the release order stipulates a number of conditions that he has to fulfill. If he doesn't meet up those conditions, he can be sent back to jail. Two, there are several other separatist leaders who are next in line to be released. Will the PDP government, will Mufti Mohammad Saeed go slow on releasing them? That remains to be seen, because Masarat Alam, according to Omar Abdullah, former chief minister, has the potential to create trouble in the state. When Afzal Guru was hanged, Omar Abdullah claims because Masarat Alam was in jail, Jammu and Kashmir remained peaceful and there was no flashpoint like in 2010 when 122 people lost their lives.
But one wonders if this pointed political message from the Parliament, the Prime Minister and the Home Minister is really getting across to Chief Minister Mufti, because Gaurav, this is not the first time that his actions have resulted in such an uproar in the Parliament and put the BJP and the centre in a very difficult position.
You're absolutely right. 9 days, 9th day of the PDP-BJP government, and 4 potential flashpoints between the two. Whether it was giving an insignificant ministry to Sajjad Lone, who's become a minister on the BJP quota, given animal husbandry, whether it is thanking Pakistan, thanking terrorists and thanking Hurriyat for peaceful elections in the state, whether it was saying that Afzal Guru's mortal remains need to be taken back to Jammu and Kashmir and handed over to the family, and now Masarat Alam. So already in 9 days, 4 points of contention between the BJP and the PDP. From what my sources tell me, that the BJP is giving the PDP the long rope on this, but there will be a thus far and no further. The centre will send out, as Rajnath Singh, the Home Minister, said, a very strong advisory to the state government. But should there be potential for trouble, people like Masarat Alam will once again be back in prison.
And a very pointed political message to the opposition as well from Prime Minister Modi, saying that he or his party does not need a lesson in patriotism. That certainly created an uproar in the opposition benches as well.
It did, because the opposition wants the BJP to walk the talk. They want the Prime Minister and the government to walk the talk on terror. When the BJP was in opposition, very, very strong line on whether it is Pakistan-sponsored terror or not talking to Hurriyat or, dealing with terrorists, or all of that. The BJP's had a very strong line. The moment the BJP came to power, while they may have called off talks with Pakistan for talking to the Hurriyat, at the same time, there is a softening of stance with the BJP, perhaps letting the PDP engage with the Hurriyat, once again resuming, if not bilateral talks with Pakistan, but under the guise of SARC talks, resuming dialogue with Pakistan. So in all of that, the opposition says that the BJP in government is different from BJP in opposition.
We also have Ashar Khan, Deputy Editor, joining us from on ground for more on this story. Ashar, Home Minister Rajnath Singh says that they have several more questions that the Jammu and Kashmir State Home Department has not yet answered, and that they are waiting a response from the Mufti government. What are these specific points really that have not yet been clarified?
Well, what we've been given to understand is that why was Masarat Alam released, what were the exact nuances of his arrest. These are the specific points about which the central government needs more clarification from the Jammu and Kashmir Home Department. But apart from that, at a political level, it is a lot of embarrassment for the BJP. And in fact, when the Prime Minister was speaking in Lok Sabha, then also there were several questions which were being raised. And after the Prime Minister finished, Mallikarjun Kharge, the leader of the Congress party in Lok Sabha, stood up and asked various questions. They were that it is rather shocking, which is what Mr. Kharge said, that the Prime Minister and the central government, which are in coalition in Jammu and Kashmir, did not know what exactly is happening. So these questions were difficult questions which were posed to the government, to which the government at the moment had no answers. Now what we expect is that even in Rajya Sabha, the government would be making a statement on this issue.
Can we expect the Prime Minister to repeat what he told the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha as well?
Well, if the Prime Minister is in the House, at the moment there's a meeting of the Prime Minister going on with Mamata Banerjee. If he is in the House, then perhaps there would be pressure on him, on the Prime Minister, from the MPs of Rajya Sabha also to make a statement. But overall, we've seen, as in Lok Sabha also and Rajya Sabha, embarrassment for the government. There are lots of questions which are being asked of the Prime Minister per se and also of the government. So that is something which the government could certainly have done without.